to let some of this can you relate get up in you and hear what we talk about. Brother, the reason for which something exists, I thought my existence was based on how many girls I could get. Was based on how much fun I could have, and I'm the pimp, I'm the man, I'm the player. That was a dirty lens.
Missiles, IBM computers, and more importantly, he invented the control unit that works in pacemakers. So just think about how many lives are affected by that.
Some people excel, or some people find their purpose once they're given a position of authority.
Somebody could be watching me, watching us right
Come on now.
and say, I saw 4 brothers on the show.
Come on.
I could relate to the brothers.
That's right.
Can you relate?
Welcome to Can You Relate, your 30-minute segment of infotainment, where we seek to entertain and inform, or inform and entertain at the same time. Welcome, brothers. Welcome back. Yeah. We are here. We are here at TV 24. I know it's been a while since some of you guys have seen us, and let me just go ahead and give you guys a brief update of where we are. In 2008, you had a group of young African-American men that decided to start a television show called Can You Relate? Well, first we were called Can We Talk, but then we changed the name to Can You Relate, where we just wanted to project a different image of what it meant, A, to be an African-American male, but B, our specific take on issues that we face in our community and in society. 10 years later, from 2008 to 2018, we decided that we wanted to do an update show to let the community know where we are, what we're doing, where we've been, and where we also plan to go. So we definitely, first of all, would like to thank all of our, I guess we can say, fans or supporters out there. Every time I go out in the community, people ask me, guys, when y'all bringing the show back? When you bringing the show back? Well, for now, here we are. So right now, I just want to start with a quick update with all our brothers, all the panel members, to just go down the line and explain what we've been up to and where we're going. Brother Dion.
All right. First of all, leaving the show, I was working at Fort McClellan at the chemical training facility. And then I left there for a while, and then started working with the Coast Guard, did a stint there. And currently, I'm working with Comcast as a environmental compliance specialist, and I'm completely responsible for the Big South, and I just kind of draw a full square for that. Virginia over to West Little Rock, down to Shreveport or West Monroe, Louisiana, over to Tallahassee, Florida, or Pensacola.
Right.
So I have a huge area of responsibility, and I have all the hub sites, all the tech centers, and all the warehouses I'm responsible for, all that reporting. So I'm constantly traveling and getting to see the whole South and enjoying it.
That's what I'm talking about, brother.
All right.
Brother Derek, what have you been up to all this time?
Oh, man. The last 10 years I've been in Iraq and Afghanistan. Recently got back from Iraq. I actually got hit by a Humvee over there and broke my elbow and messed up my neck and stuff. So currently I'm at the Department of Homeland Security. So that's where I'm at now.
Gotcha. All right. Glad to have you back, brother, on this side of the world.
Yeah. Even though we intact a little bit with a little metal, but we all right.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Brother James, what have you been up to,
Oh,
brother?
man, James Jones from the Kill Store. James Jones from the Kill Store. James Jones. Kill Store. You know I'm still at the Kill Store right now. You can catch me online, Kill Store Anniston, Kill Store Rainbow City. Even if you complain, that's me. So anything you do online, that's James Jones. Kill Store Anniston, Oxford, Kill Store Rainbow City, Gas.
Gotcha. All right. All right. And for me, brothers, as you guys know, and as some people in the community may know, I've been up to a few things. First, I got elected Anniston City Council in 2012. I'm currently on the political side in a race for Alabama House of District 32, but that is not a political plug. I'm just talking about what I've been up to. I got married. I have a wife now, Rebecca Selassie. She's an attorney, not locally, but in Birmingham. So she travels back and forth. And most recently, I was able to obtain a real estate license. So, you know, I want to help my brothers out and pretty much the community as much as possible to help out where I can with real estate needs, because you guys know, and especially you, we've been to several tax sales together. our whole mission is about expanding what the community may have not known about real estate.
Absolutely.
And that's a whole nother story that we may have some time to get into later. But before that, we want to go ahead and give an update as well on the brothers that couldn't be here with us on this anniversary 10 years. First of all, you guys may remember Brother Chimezie Maduka. He's actually a travel nurse, we know, in Las Vegas. So he goes around the country providing different healthcare services to individuals. Our brother Cliff, Cliff. Cliff is in Hungary, you guys, in Hungary.
Yeah.
So it's funny that we're all getting out internationally. You want to say something else about
man,
Cliff?
he wearing them ugly shoes. Too. Them ugly shoes. He got a size 13.
I hear you. All right, Brother Stanley is in the Air Force, so he's been doing his thing in the Air Force. Our brother Varian May, he has his own instructional fitness company now called Tailored Fitness. We have Brother Prince, and y'all know Brother Prince. He was quiet one out the group, but still is doing his thing. He's out there doing his thing in Gaston, Alabama. And those other brothers, a quick update on all the brothers, you guys. But what we want to do right now is just take a trip down memory lane to our audience. You guys know we shot, I don't know, countless shows. I can't even begin to count. But first of all, what are some of the shows that stick out on you all's mind and why? And all of us just flow in.
Well, one of the funny ones for me now, looking back, is Good Hair, Bad Hair.
Oh, man.
And when you think about it, like what 10 years do to you? For me,
Well,
I'm still, you know, I wasn't big on the natural hair thing, especially when you cut it short at that time. It still hadn't grown on me much, but I also understand now I was still liking my products. I have all this gray hair now. So I'm still into pushing the products, and I have to dye just to look my age. Otherwise, I look like Cisco or something.
So, brother, even after Wakanda, you're not into
I just can't do the silverback right now.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I hear you.
don't look like I'm gonna get no silverback because mine gone.
What else? Some more memorable shows.
State of a Union. Yeah, State of a Union was, oh my. I wish Brother Cliff was here. Yeah, it was it's a good show, really good show. And now we're seeing a lot of transgenders and things of that nature coming out now more so now. But 10 years ago when we shot the show, it wasn't that many. But now everybody's really coming out and doing their own thing, I guess.
Well, I think it was that many. It's just that they didn't have the platform to openly show that they were, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A lot has changed, you guys, in just a decade.
Yeah.
Brother James, what show sticks out in your mind?
Oh my goodness, man! And you know it had to be The Secret.
Oh man.
The Secret was one of the best shows to me because I'm actually still using subliminal messages at this point in time, which really helped me to elevate as a person internally and understand that it's not really your externals that get you, it's how you feel on the inside of yourself.
Sir. Yes,
so if you see yourself a certain way, the scripture says, as a man think, so is he,
Yes, sir.
which is actually perceived in the way you see yourself. So if you see somebody and say, they don't like me, they can't stand me,
Right.
usually that's what you're giving off, so they're not going to see you that way. So, I mean, The Secret by far, I think was one of the most helpful shows if you took it is what it was.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
sir.
that goes on to, when I do a lot of traveling, I'm also listening to a lot of audiobooks. So I've taken to more consideration about how I approach things and also talking to people for them to give me that information back. Because as an auditor, people can seem a little hesitant about giving you information. But if you try to coax them and talk to them about, we're looking out for each other here and also the environment as well. So, and it looks better on everybody's part. Trying to develop more relationships in the way I project things. I look forward to that episode and things I learned from that.
Right, and it's something so important and powerful about the subconscious mind. When I go in and talk to young people, I say, look, what you continue to put in your mind seeps into your subconscious,
Exactly.
and that will then produce the fruit of what you've been planning.
Absolutely.
And you know, I think about even when I ran my first time in city council, I showed you guys I snuck in the city council, but again, it's a public body. But I snuck in and I sat in the chair of where I wanted to be. And every day when I would look at my phone, I'm glad I have my phone up here. Every day when I would look at my phone, on the background when I was hitting apps was a picture of where I wanted to be. So I was consciously looking at the apps, but subconsciously taking in a message of this is who you're gonna become. This is what seat you're gonna be in. And always reminding me of how effective you would be, which talks about purpose. So let me jump into one of my favorite shows, one in which you guys may not remember. Operation Hope. This is when, to our studio audience, you guys may remember, we took the cameras outside of the studio and went to Constantine, Glen Natty, Cooper Holmes, and we're talking to people in the community about, you know, what's going on. And I think about even especially in Anniston right now, and it's all around the state, all around the country, how much violence is going on. And I remember when we took those cameras out in the studio and went not to talk or to condemn people, but we just wanted to hear from young brothers. Like, you know, why are y'all, you know, talking crazy against each other, or why are y'all shooting each other? And it's just so hurtful to me to see from 2008, where Anniston had one of its highest crime rates, it went down, but now it's shot back up. So, you know, it makes me wish we had automatically the show going again, and who knows what all of this will lead to. We're not going to get on that yet, but it makes me wish we could get back out there and put the cameras in front of these people. If you big enough and bad enough to shoot somebody and do all this stuff, well, hopefully you can come on camera and explain to us, what are you really feeling? What do y'all think about that?
Oh yeah, you gotta see what's triggering people's mind, man. What do we do though to see what's going on? How do we fix it? Like you said, we go out in the streets and we put the cameras in their face. Let's see what you're about.
Right.
And that falls on to, is two parts. People always look at, or I wouldn't say always, but more recently looking at, well, the guns, we need to legislate the guns.
Right.
That's not solely the issue. And we look at mental health and also what's the cause of that incident. People just, because if you take away the guns, then people will find some other means of which to do some type of violence. So if you look at like the whole picture of why these things are happening, then you can address those, and that's the actual root cause of the incident.
Well, good point, but I think it also has to be a balanced approach, because how are they getting the guns to begin with? You know, that question in my mind has never completely been answered. How are so many guns getting into communities of color primarily, upon which they're able to shoot each other? And so I think I agree definitely with mental health. You know, that's also part of my profession. I run a substance abuse prevention agency. But how do we figure out where are these guns getting into the community, and then what may be common sense approaches and policies in order to deal with that? But anyway, Operation Hope was a big one for me. More shows that we, as we go down memory lane, more shows that really stuck out to you guys.
Crabs in a Barrel.
Oh, talk about it, brother. Talk about it.
Crabs in a Barrel, man. I mean, it's still going on today. We don't want to see each other get ahead. We always, when somebody get ahead, we're always jumping up there, pulling them back down.
Right.
You know, instead of waiting till they get up and hoping they put their hand down to us to pull us up with them.
Come on,
especially now, things are picked up a lot faster because of the age of the internet. Even if you make one small mistake, if somebody has access to the internet and be able to get that on camera, it's a wrap. It's over for possibly your career or whatever. You may have to do something else. So that has a dramatic impact really fast.
And just to summarize yours, Brother Derek, you said Crabs in a Barrel. We were talking about, to our viewing audience, the way in which, especially in the African American community, as soon as somebody rises, people seek to pull them down. And I've witnessed some of that personally.
But you know,
go ahead.
I think that you have to take full responsibility for yourself. If you see a person doing something that you would like to do, you should take responsibility and ask them, hey, how can I go and follow your footsteps? Or either Google it, ask Siri, do something. See, my problem exactly with the violence.
Yes, sir.
Along with the crabs in a barrel, is people are sorry. I'll be the one. I ain't scared. Yeah,
Okay.
you're sorry. If you will sit there and take what another man has, his life, his family, his money, anything of that nature, that means just everybody's hiring right now. I ride up and down the street. Matter of fact, I was hiring for two positions, and you know what? Not one person applied.
Really?
Not one. But I ain't gonna stay on that. I'm saying that they're sorry because you have everything's available to you right here on these cell phones.
Yes, sir.
For you to get anything and everything you want. Like you said, we're in a technological marvel
Right.
now.
Right.
You can do anything and everything that you put your mind to if you put forth some effort and you take forth responsibility for your own livelihood.
But I got to tie into that because I forgot all about Crabs in the Barrel, but I did remember who are they?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember that show.
Yeah.
But it ties right
Yeah,
there.
right there.
Right there, bro.
Yeah.
So, Who Are They show to our viewing audience was talking about in the community. We hear a lot of people, whether it's your grandmama and them house or on the block or whatever, talking about, oh, they won't let me do this. They won't let me do that.
Yeah.
And I now, tying in with Crabs in the Barrel, have learned who they are.
Who are they?
It's us! I'm sorry. I get a little passionate. It is our own people, you guys.
Right.
Through my political, financial, professional career, I have had more issues with my own
Wow.
than any other
Wow.
group of people.
Yeah.
Let me say that again.
Wow.
I've had more issues with our own
Yeah.
than any other group of people.
So what do you think that is, though?
I believe we still have not overcome, unfortunately, this slave mentality.
You're right.
The crabs in the barrel and who are they, meaning playing the blame game, all filters from the slave mentality, not realizing, and again, y'all can tell Black Panther really affected me, not realizing that we were formerly kings and queens.
Right.
Now, Black Panther is fictional, but it was based on some true historical facts.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're a king, if you are a queen, if you're a prince, if you're a princess, people are all up in arms and talking about the royal wedding that's happened. But we have been royalty. If we don't start to take on that mentality, you guys, we'll stay crabs in the barrel.
Right.
We'll stay blaming other people for things that don't have anything to do with them, but we should be taking responsibility ourselves.
Exactly.
And what hurts me the most in this process, and I'm so glad 10 years later, we're not looking and doing that to other young people.
Right.
Think about that. We are not doing that to other young people. We're going out mentoring and talking to different individuals, and it's to the point to where now we're raising up a new generation that can take our places in
Right.
whatever it is that we do. But what I witnessed in the older generation, man,
They dropped the ball.
it's I've always said we don't suffer from a generation gap, we suffer from an information gap.
Right.
They
Correct.
don't want to pass it down.
They don't.
Or guess what? Man, this older man told me this. One older man who I still do listen to and agree with, he said, you know what? We're giving y'all the torch, but it's not lit.
It's not lit.
Wow.
It is not lit.
Wow.
Right.
Talk to me,
Wow.
brothers. Talk
Man,
to me.
that-
Talk to me.
Hey, look, just like you was talking about earlier about we go to tax sales. I accidentally bumped into that.
Wow.
Didn't nobody tell me about that.
Come on.
I had some family that had their name was in the paper. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to this tax sale and I'm going to get this land because it's in the family.
Right.
What did I do
Wow.
next? I passed the information.
Yes, sir.
Say, Ron, let's go to this tax sale.
Yes, sir.
What we do?
Yes, sir.
We went to the tax sale.
Wow.
Matter of fact, there's another one Monday, the 21st in Talladega.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be there. We'll be there.
Exactly. But more shows, brother. But go ahead. You
But
had a
you know,
point.
you know what makes that even more crazy is that we have people that sit around with wealth
Yes, sir.
of knowledge,
Right.
wealth of knowledge that could help countless numbers of people.
Right.
And they sit on their hands and take all that knowledge with them,
Yep.
and then sit back and point their fingers at the ones that don't have,
Yes, sir.
and talk how bad they are. When what are you doing to fix the situation? That's why I say when you take responsibility, like you did for your community, you ran, you won, you stood up, you did what was supposed to be done, you took responsibility. When are we gonna take responsibility for our surroundings?
Yes, sir.
You know, you can't say just me and my four no more.
Come on.
Because your kids got to go out there to the public schools and deal with somebody else's kid that doesn't have the information that you have, or don't have the Jordans on their feet, or don't have the money that your parents make. And then they got to deal with being bullied.
Come on.
Because they are doing a little bit better. Where if we pass the information along, there's enough for everybody. Why are we like that as a people, do you think? I see people every day looking at, oh, you think you something because you're at the kill store. No, I think I'm something because I'm taking care of my family like I'm supposed to.
Come on, brother.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ain't running around here with 5 or 10 different girlfriends. I got a wife at home, my children at home. I'm going to be at home.
Yeah.
Why in the world would I be out here trying to portray something that I'm not?
Yeah.
We walk around listening to this music. That's part of the transgender thing.
Yeah,
I think they're
yeah.
subliminally putting stuff in music to make people act crazy, part of the violence. You can't live like those folks. All that stuff is fictional.
Yes,
if
sir.
you go to the Migos house, surely the Migos ain't running around drinking syrup and doing all that stuff they're talking about on the music.
Right.
Because you'd heard about them arrested.
Right.
See, everything is fictional. You got to get past the social media and get past all of the nonsense. You have to take responsibility for yourself.
Yes, sir.
If you want to better yourself, put some effort into it.
All right, we'll change
Wait.
pace.
You can wait some years to get that.
10 years. But you know what's funny? My mom actually did a walk. She headed up a walk in Glen Addy and Constantine. It was called a Walk of Faith. When they went through the neighborhoods, they walked around, they prayed for people, they had all the pastors and things like that. You know, when she brought the idea up, I thought to myself, Self, I don't want to be a part of that. But you know, the Lord kind of spoke to me and said, if you ain't doing that, how is anybody else gonna do something?
Come on, brother.
Yeah.
You know, we sit back on our hands and say, well, somebody gonna do it.
Yes, sir.
If I don't know about y'all religious preference or anything like that, but Jesus told me, if I don't stand up for what I believe in, how can I expect somebody else to stand up for it?
Come on, brother.
So, like you did, you went out, you say, you know what? I'm gonna be a councilman. You was a councilman.
Yes, sir.
Then now you're taking the step up. You're taking responsibility of your direct influence.
Yes, sir.
And I'm asking, like y'all took responsibility for your direct influence. So I'm asking the listening audience, can you please take responsibility for your direct influence? You are your brother's keeper.
Come on, brother. Go ahead, brother Dion. That's what I'm talking about.
We'll change paces just a little bit.
All right.
And, what affected me probably most in one of our shows is One Life to Give. And I think about one of the simplest things you could do as a human being is that just sign up for organ donation. Once you're done, I mean, you passed, you're not going to use that stuff anymore, and you're not even here anymore. So what you can do is try to help keep someone else alive. There's so many people who are waiting on a kidney, a liver, or a set of lungs, or maybe even a heart transplant. And medicine's getting better, so the percentage of chances of people living are further going to increase. So if you can do your part to help out, to at the very least just sign up for organ donation.
Yeah.
There's also like you can donate blood and things of that nature. But
It's funny because the shows that have impacted us the most, it's funny how they're tying in together.
They are
and one
tying
of my most favorite shows too, because I got a whole list of them, but anyway, was The Dash.
Oh, yeah.
The Dash.
yeah.
And to our studio audience, you know, we talked about in this show that, let's say such and such was born in 1942 dash 2016. And that dash is symbolic of your entire life. And from organ donation to all the way thinking about the dash, you guys, I just think about purpose.
Right.
You know, what we have been able to do and create when you guys come out and tell me when are y'all doing the show or when are y'all bringing it back, blah, blah, blah. That lets me know we have purpose with this, you guys. That somebody is listening, somebody's life could be changed, and that somebody can relate to what we're going through. And that's all that we ever want to do, you know. But when I think about that dash, you guys, that really hits me. What do you guys think?
Oh, the dash is awesome because when you leave a legacy behind, it's a whole lot better than money. It's a whole lot better than a house. It's a whole lot better than leaving your kids in a state where they can just run around and do whatever.
Yes, sir.
When you can affect the community or affect the city or affect the history books, I think that's when you left this world with a purpose.
Come on, come on.
Right, and that dash is just an example of how quickly life can go.
Right.
So you need to also focus on the point that every day matters.
Right.
So when you have that time to go out and do something, go ahead and do it.
Right.
Because that dash is over with so fast. Tomorrow you don't know.
Right.
Like we travel so much up and down the highways. You can be gone in a minute, or even heart attack. So you don't know. So that dash, you got to be on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And what I think about, all of us, except me right now, have children. And what type of legacy, you guys, I'm in the past 10 years, I've been so proud. First of all, my favorite album ever that came out was To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. But following up, I would say one of my next favorite albums was Jay-Z's last album. What was it called?
444.
444. And to me, the title doesn't even fit all of what he was talking about in it. But one of his very last songs in it was called Legacy.
Yeah.
Legacy, legacy, legacy. And I think about, you just having a baby girl, and, hopefully I'll have children here someday. What type of legacy after the dash are we leaving for generations to come? Like, I think about it so deep in my heart and soul that, one day our grandkids will come across some DVDs and say, man, look at Granddaddy. Man, they had a show. Man, they were talking. Like, how deep is that? And with that dash, with the legacy that we're sharing and all of the shows we shot, how much more information did we get out? One of the most important things you can impart to a child is, in a sense, righteousness combined with information.
Correct.
They have to go hand in hand in order for people to move from sometimes inaction to action. Because we know some people, and we did a show about this too, it's all just coming back to me. We said how people would pray and then sit on their hands.
Right.
Pray and then sit on their hands. But we do know faith without what?
Works
is dead.
That's right.
Dead.
And I'm so happy that we've been able to accomplish this. A couple of more shows,
Let me give you one. He was talking about the organ donation. So I got an organ I want to talk about. Our stomach. When Dr. Rowe came with them salads, man. Dr. Rowe and her, what was that, a cranberry?
Cranberry, I forget what
Cranberry
salad
or
that
some
was.
kind of salad. It didn't have no meat. I'm a meat eater.
Right.
I love meat, but
Right.
that salad was off the hook.
Right.
Dr. Rowe, shout out to you. Keep making them salads.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the thing there too. I was also thinking about health-wise, and in that 10 years of difference, how much our lives have dramatically changed.
Right.
I know when I was in my early 20s, I wasn't thinking about going to the doctor.
No.
Like, I'm young and healthy, young and invincible.
Yeah.
But until I had my daughter, I started thinking about, like, well, maybe I need to go get a checkup. I know I haven't been in a while.
Right.
Turns out, my blood pressure's a little bit up.
Yeah.
It's not a big crisis, but I need to start monitoring what I'm eating.
Exactly.
So,
Very good point.
and things like that, like that 10 years and that food and the things you need to ingest, it kind of boils down to like a lifestyle change that I know I'm getting older now. So things I can't go out and be young and invincible anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, to our viewing audience, you can tell it's been a long time since we have been together. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back for this very, very special anniversary show of Can You Relate? Welcome back to Can You Relate? We are celebrating this 10th year anniversary since we started the show. We're so very glad to have all of our viewing audience. We're now, in the process of just thinking about and reminiscing all the wonderful shows that we did and the impact that it had. And we know some of you guys may have some stories too of what you guys enjoyed. So all of us are on social media. So please just hit us up or whatever. Believe it or not, you guys, the Facebook page is still up too. So just give us some ideas. We never may know where that may go. But again, we are just taking a trip down memory lane. However, now we're going to get into our normal type of show, which is we don't have a particular topic, but I just want to ask the brothers on the panel, what do we see as some of the most pressing issues today in our community and society as a whole? So I'm just going to open the panel back up. What do you guys think?
Well, my first one would be poor leadership. Especially in our community.
Okay.
There's nobody taking responsibility for everything that's going on. There's not a go-to person. Everybody's pointing the finger at everybody. When I was a kid, it was a time where the church, I hate to go back to religious viewpoints, but the church was a focal point.
Yeah.
Everybody came to the church with their issues. everybody came to the church with anything that was going on in the community, and it usually was solved right there in the church.
Right.
But since everybody's leaving the church, it seems that there's a gap of leadership.
Right.
Where there's nobody that's taking responsibility for what's going on in the community. I like what you did, brother, but it needs to be somebody there that you can put your hands on. You know, when you're having certain things, if there's a drug dealer on the corner, somebody need to be able to address him and let him know, hey, brother, there's a better way than doing what you're doing.
Right.
If there's somebody doing something that you don't like in the neighborhood, there ought to be somebody there that can walk up to that person or walk up to that issue or face that issue and alleviate it.
Well, let me add to that. It's interesting. You make a very good point, but in a sense, aren't we all leaders? Like I guess what I'm now torn with, and again, to our audience, we never have said we have all the answers.
Right.
We're just trying to get to some type of answers and solutions. But anyway, when I think about the leadership and what I've noticed, the people that may be in those positions, some of them just want $1. Some of them just want $1. So when you have people who truly care and you discard them or treat them like they're nothing, then how are true leaders supposed to deal with that? You know, I'm a little torn and trying to figure that out myself. But you know what I hope can happen is that all of us will pull out. You talked about Jesus and religion, but God and Jesus lives within us, correct?
Exactly.
So my hope is that all of us will start to evolve and become the more than overcomers and things of that nature that we talk about, and don't allow small, sometimes circumstances to rule our entire lives.
Correct.
You know, and that's interesting. But go ahead, guys. I cut y'all off.
Well, going on what you said, with our past election, we didn't feel. I think a lot of people didn't feel confident in either or candidate.
Right.
And we got the one we have now.
Right.
So what happened, and what we're starting to see is a lot of people completely don't like what he represents.
Right.
So people are now starting to get together and be more involved in politics and involved with what's really supposed to go on in their communities. Although, like you said, certain small cases, well, I wouldn't say small cases, but things that happen in their immediate area, they don't want to be a part of. They just want to say, oh, well, we don't like Starbucks now.
Right.
So what I think what needs to happen is that people take more of a responsibility, not only for themselves, but look at, all right, is what's happening next door. Because there's a level of accountability that goes on to say, well, if my brother came in this situation and he's dragging the family down, well, then what am I doing? Am I just going to let it continue, or also just let him be, let him live as they would go?
Gotcha.
But also, what I happen to see now is a shift in culture between, obviously, between generations, like the older generation, new generation,
Right.
and with even in the music. In the music, when I was coming up, it was more about the drug dealer kingpinning.
Right.
Now, nobody's talking about dealing drugs. They're talking about using them.
Yeah, you're right.
So, and it's obviously a more detrimental impact on the community, even though drugs need to be out altogether, but it's a different image that these kids are seeing.
Right.
A lot of people are scared to approach people like that because it's so easy to sue now. You know, I mean, you go up and you talk bad to somebody, or you put your hands on somebody else's kid, your ass gonna end up in court.
Right.
If you probably can't put hands on your own.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. But see, this is the thing, though. Then we condemn the police officers for doing their job because the job wasn't done at home first.
Right.
And if you're not taking why would you send your child to school to be raised by a teacher that's only there to get a paycheck?
Right.
So you send your child to school, they go to school, they hang out with other kids, that's their parents send their kids to school, and once they get home and they get 19 or 20, you can't tell them nothing. You don't know what they've learned. So then you condemn for what happens to them.
You know, to add to that, and I'm thinking about what all of you guys said, one of the other most critical crises I see in our community is, and we talked about it before, but the breakdown of family structure.
Oh, yeah.
And let me take that a step deeper. You know, now we live almost in a resegregated society. You have majority black schools again, you have majority white and or private schools, and we're now separated. But what else has happened? our families and communities are now segregated in a sense to where I'm seeing you have the more well-to-do and smart black folks segregated from the forward black folks.
Right.
So right now we're not even one, and it's interesting, man. I never forget. I was out on the campaign trail one time, and I was talking to this lady. And again, I'm from this area, grew up, born and raised, little boy all the way grown. Did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. And I was talking to the lady. I said, you know, I hope I can get your support. She said, well, they say you're arrogant. I said, well, did they say that about Obama? And she got quiet. Well, that's different. Wait a minute. So wait a minute, you raised me in this community. I grew up in this community, this family structure, did what you wanted me to do, go through college, you know, get a good job and all that good stuff. And now I'm arrogant. So now I feel kicked out of the community, and this individual is not getting the help and services that somebody like me could provide. And it's so interesting, you guys, to me that, again, now I feel that our family structures in our community has another level of segregation. Of course, you know, you always had successful people in our communities, but they were in the community. Now they're not. And people don't feel like that they can relate to them. But let me make this very clear. As you can see in the situations of Kanye West, Bill Cosby, you name it, random African-American person, they're still black. They're still black and going through the same issues and struggles that you may be. So we have to stop segregating each other and being crabs in the barrel again and figure out how to make solutions to the problems we face. Talk to me.
You're right about that, because we all face the same problem. The first one is our skin color. Now, you can't get past doing that. But once you get an education, you know what I found out, that what they did a long time ago is they brought the businesses back to the community. They brought the information back to the community. If somebody knew how to farm, there was somebody over there that knew how to sew, then somebody over there that knew how to do this. They all came together. And how I think we can get back to that, I'm sorry to say that it probably will take a tragedy. The dollar to fail, or the economy just to go completely down. For people to get back knowing that I'm a human just like you're a human. I need you as much as you need me. It ain't about skin color, it's about being American. Now, if my neighbor's house was on fire and I knew that I could go in there and save them, what would it look like for me to call the fire department and wait for them to get there, which would take them 15 to 20 minutes when I could have ran in there and saved my neighbor. Where if that was my daughter in the house, it'd be different. I'd run right in there and get them. So when you want to know what I think that can make it difference is love. We don't love each other like we love like our mother loves us, or like we love our brother, or like we love our immediate family member. We'll turn our back on the guy that's sitting at the gas station that need a helping hand. The knowledge that we have could somehow get that brother up off the gas station, into a good paying job, get him back on his feet. But what we do, we pump our gas. I'm talking about me. I can't condemn y'all. I'm gonna talk about myself. What I do, I pump my gas, hope I don't make no eye contact, get back in my car and ride off. I mean, and that's what we do. I mean, we don't take accountability for what's directly in front of us.
And go ahead.
When you were talking about the economics about it, people's situations, it made me also think about how much that people don't realize college debt. That's a huge. And whether the school is legitimate or not. There are people, there are people who are $80,000, $90,000 in college in debt for a degree that from a school that's not accredited. So I would make sure you get that information out. The research at schools, because they got all these ads out now. We know how Miss DeVoe is. While they're getting all this information out, trying to sell you on some stay-at-home school. Make sure that's accredited and get your degree in a reasonable college.
Let me follow off with it. And trades are awesome as well. I mean, everybody's been preached, go to school, go to school, go to school. If you get a trade like air conditioning repair or something like that, you have the ability to own your own business. You can leave wherever you are with that trade degree, get you a storefront, and go out and do business. Where with a normal degree. I got to go work for somebody else
Right.
until they give me the opportunity to advance, which most of the time I got to do double the work or triple the work to advance where, I mean, go ahead, brother. I don't want to get on.
I just throw a quick
too far on
little
that.
tidbit in there while you was talking about that. I actually know a guy who went to school for welding and then was doing really good in that and actually went to school for underwater welding. So technically he spent maybe 3 years in school and he's making over $120,000 for underwater welding.
Right.
So again, guys, we're talking about leadership. We're talking about family structure. We're talking about the economics in our community. What are some of the other most pressing issues that we are seeing today?
We don't have enough fathers in the home.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Still.
these women are raising these boys to be men. How?
That's a good question. My mom actually raised me for a little while, and I thank your stepdad, Freeman Green, for stepping in for my real father. But, you know, it's a huge responsibility being a father. I have kids myself, and the demand of going to work, the demand that they require, because they require time. I don't care how much money you give a child, they still want your time.
Yeah.
Time is more important than anything that you could possibly ever give
Absolutely.
your child.
but
And me being a new father now,
Right.
learning it's a dramatic change in lifestyle. As where simple things is, well, I'm going to get up and go to the store. Well, you just can't get up and go to the
No,
store.
you just can't get up and go to the store.
Right.
Gotta make sure that diaper's changed. You gotta make sure she's fed. You gotta make sure, like, all right, you calm down, because I don't need you in the store crying and yelling and trying to reach for everything. It's a huge different change in lifestyle. And you want to make sure that their presence is in there, therefore she knows how to act with you and how to act in public. So it takes that mannerism. You just can't just turn them loose and say, oh, well, I'm going to work, your bills are paid for, you can go do whatever, go play iPod, or whatever you want to do. You can't just turn them loose like that. It takes that raising them.
let me say that, and again, because these things to me, another primary issue that we're facing, they feed into each other. Having fatherless homes, we've always talked about, in order for a boy to be a man, he has to see a man.
That's right.
And if he doesn't see a man, you filter that on down to that young boy growing up, and now he's a young adult. Then he meets another young lady who's a young adult. They get together, let's say they get married. Those issues will come out in a marriage.
Absolutely.
And brothers, we know how tough it is, especially those of us who may have come from single parent households, trying to figure out this thing called marriage, because you may have missed, even, I'll put on myself, not having a consistent father around in the household. I didn't see how a man should treat a woman consistently. I didn't see how a woman needs to feel loved and all that stuff. And in turn, if she feels loved, she'll respect you like she needs to. That stuff filters on down to our relationships, you guys. And that's why I would argue, too, the other crisis that we're facing, our divorce rates are sky high. Now, again, some people, unfortunately, are in very, very tough situations, and they should get divorced. That does happen. But most of us, y'all, are punking out.
You're right.
I'll just be honest, and Lord forbid that happens to me, but a lot is punking out. We're not doing the hard work of previous generations to make it work. I'm not saying stay in an unhappy relationship and be there and, you know, be like the color purple. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying go get some help if you need counseling, or go to a pastor, preacher, a family member, somebody been married 46 years or something, but fight for your marriage, fight for your love. And we're not doing that anymore. And then in turn, since we don't do that, selfishly, it's better I can be bad all by myself, that filters on down to the children. And now they feel that the boys either got to be players, and the girls feel like they just may have to live promiscuous lifestyles or go after a dude because of money, because these N-words ain't about us anyway. How crazy is that?
And what's interesting about it, like, it may happen, but I don't see it. Where, let's say, Asian talks bad about the other Asian opposite sex.
They don't.
Exactly, and I don't see it happening between the whites, and I don't see it even happening between the Hispanics. So I think that's an us thing that we really need to kick out.
I think it's more about what you, like you said, what's going in you. Because we listen to all the music. The music is degrading the women. The music is degrading the men. The shows are degrading women. The shows are degrading men. And then when you in the home, you're seeing the same thing. So when you actually get into a relationship or get into a marriage, you got to understand that it's 50%, matter of fact, it's 100% your fault. If you take full responsibility for making you happy, happiness ain't found in things, happiness is found on the inside of you.
Come on.
So if you're a whole person and you get into a whole nother woman, everything that you have, not 50%, not 25%, I'm gonna talk to me because that's what I do. I'll draw back. You know what I'm saying? If I see that you're not reciprocating what I'm doing, I start drawing back. I'll draw back until I just cut you, slap off.
Yeah.
But what I found out is that most boys that are my age aren't really men. So it lets me understand that there's not an age that you become a man.
Right.
It's actually your growth that determines when you become a man.
Right.
So once you grow and you become a man, it leads me to guess that most people may not know what a man is. Well, let me break it down for you. A man is responsible, first of all. He takes care of his responsibility. If he make a decision, he's going to be responsible to follow through with that decision.
Right.
A man is accountable. And what I'm saying about it being accountable, if you make a baby, you need to go to work and take care of the baby.
right.
Not only the baby, the mama, and everybody else.
Right.
A man will do what he has to do within the legal bounds to make sure that everything is straight. Now, I found that out on my own. When my parents sent me off to the military at 17, I found out I was a boy until Uncle Sam changed my life. And that's another thing that I think needs to happen. There's nobody being shown that there's structure to this world. When you're in the military, they teach you structure. We have young boys running around doing whatever they want to do, and they lack the structure and the discipline to be a productive citizen.
But let me say this, you guys, and while we're, to our viewing audience, dealing with all of these issues, as we always consistently would do, it still takes everybody getting involved.
Yeah, right.
James already mentioned that earlier. You know, I want you guys to just sitting on your couch or whatever, drinking a beer or whatever you may be doing, eating some chitlins, whatever. Are you doing as much as you can to be a solution to the problem instead of somebody that's truly also throwing gasoline on the fire?
Right.
But brothers, what are those other pressing issues that you guys are seeing right now?
I want to talk about race relations.
Well, let me go ahead and jump into it because that's mine.
That's yours too.
I do need to talk about this, you guys. We have seen, since the past 10 years of us starting the show, an uptick, a literal uptick in the deaths of unarmed African-American men.
Right.
Number one, that's unacceptable. Number two, I don't feel people are working enough to really deal with it. It's something that's swept under the rug. Number three, and I'll say this for all the black men who may not be honest enough to say it, there are young African-American men out there living in fear.
Right.
Living in fear that you can be in a neighborhood, at a social function, in a park, minding your own business and end up getting killed. That is unacceptable for us as an American society. And right now, you guys, let's delve deep into that. Like, what are we dealing with all of this racial profiling, the racial just tenseness that's going on in this country?
I think the major issue with that is what we see as a community is a lack of accountability on the police side.
Come on.
Because what happens is if an incident happens from that department, who investigated?
Their own department.
Their own department.
Right.
Right? And then if it gets to, let's say it does go to the DA, who's an elected official, who can get campaign funds from who? That department.
Right.
So it's a terrible loophole that they have in the system. And I think that if there was a level of accountability associated with those things, then it would actually go down a lot further. Because right now, you see it, it's like, oh, something happened, and it's clear as day, it's on video. Right?
Right.
And it's like, oh, we investigated and it's okay.
Right.
Or even if it goes, there's rare cases where it actually gone to trial and that person got prosecuted, but they don't get the same sentence as like me killing you.
Right.
It should be that same level of accountability.
What are you thinking, Brother Derek? You
Oh
seem deep in
man,
thought.
yeah, man. You know, I get to thinking sometimes, like, when you hear about these things, about a month or two later, you don't hear about them no more. It's because somebody has been paid off, so the family is hushing. So you telling me my child get killed by one of your officers, You give me a little money and I shut up. That don't sit well with me, man. I have a 15-year-old son.
You do?
And that's my world, you know. So if something, I get to thinking about these unarmed black males getting killed and stuff, and I think about my son, man. I was like, if something happens to him, man, you know, I don't even know what I'll do. I know I ain't taking no doggone money.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
Well, James, what are you thinking, man?
Man, I think that's a huge issue because it's right in front of our faces.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on the internet, it's on TV. Actually, it's in our own communities.
Yeah.
I mean, when you really think about it, it's such a pressing issue that, as we were talking about, I'm thinking I need to do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, but the problem is that every time somebody speaks up, we got the crab in the bucket mentality. Oh, they just doing this. Oh, they just trying to be seen. But when it hits your house, then you'll want. And that's why I was saying that it's back a long time ago. We had our own security. I ain't gonna jump too far into it, but we did.
Right.
Our own security for our own community,
Right.
our own police force, where they didn't have to bother us. We took care. And you know what's amazing? Correct me if I'm wrong, because you was in politics. Shouldn't the services that are provided by the city look something like the city that they're representing?
It should reflect, but it's more that goes into that. But yeah, there should be an effort to make sure that it's reflected all around. Yes.
So if that's the point, where are we going wrong?
Another thought about the police and enforcement: if something happens in your community, you still got to go to the same group of people who done it.
Right. The same group.
So how you already have that mentality that these are the people who done something to my child or my community member, and you have to go right back and speak to them. So that's like that level of animosity and potential of violence increases right there, and they still have all the power because they can basically write their own scenario
Well, let me
because
ask you
you're
this.
no longer there at that point.
Well, you know, that does go back to the home, but I want to ask this one question. We can't just completely say that it's all the police's fault.
No.
Now, we don't know what happened in the situations. All we hear is what they saw. But going back to what you said, if there was a father in the home that showed kids how to be respectable when they're in the presence, if they don't respect their mother and father at home, what make you think they're gonna respect the police officer
outside.
giving them directions outside of the home? That goes back to discipline. If you're not disciplined in the home, surely when the officer tells you to pull over, you listen to all them other people saying, forget the police, forget the police. The police got a gun.
Yeah.
You think because you got a gun and the police got a gun, you think that man ain't gonna shoot you?
Well, let me say
he
this.
doing a job.
Let me say this. I think, you know, again, it has to be that balance, and I'm glad we're approaching it from all sides.
right.
But to Brother Dion's point, you guys, and it's only so much, not unfortunately, but in real human terms that people can take to where you now see this stuff on video and you see it on smartphones, and nobody's ever prosecuted.
Right.
And I just want to say to our viewing audience, imagine if you're not an African-American male, but imagine being in that situation where you see this stuff day in, day out, and no one's ever prosecuted.
Right.
And first try to put yourself in the shoes of that, and then flip the script. How many unarmed young white men do we hear getting killed? And that's where we're missing each other in society. That's not to say that there aren't certain situations where deadly force is necessary, but again, when you think about so many young African-American men dying, it's one of the pressing issues that I knew would come up in this panel after this past 10 years, what we've seen.
But you know what, though, brother? It's 2018. There's several non-lethal weapons that are available.
Exactly.
Oh, come on.
There's several. It's 2018. I mean, have y'all been sprayed with the pepper spray before?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Pat. I got to tell you this.
hate.
I was outside spraying some, and the wind changed directions. And I got a whiff of that stuff.
Yeah.
That was enough to make tears and all the stuff fall out of my mouth. I stop doing whatever you want me to do. If you give me one squirt.
Let me stop you right there. We're gonna kind of start wrapping up on a lighter note. Just Brother Dion, just one final thought that you would like to lead to the panel, and then let's work our way down, and then we're gonna go with the quote of the segment. So, Brother Dion, just one final thought you would like to leave with the panel.
My final thought is that seize the day. I mean, you make a goal and try to focus on getting toward it a day at a time.
Mine is continue to strive for excellence in everything that you do.
Mine, be you. You the only one that can be you.
And for me, it's all about love at the end of the day. The reason we do this show is because we love you guys and we want to see all of our communities flourish regardless of skin color. So with that, you guys, we would like to thank you for joining us on
Can You Relate?
Experiences. So how can I say I'm not as interested in one?
It throws them off. Matter of fact, I have a
We don't want to waste any time. We don't want to waste any time. We want to. The reason for which something exists. Say something, man.
For you, I will risk my life, Black History.
brainchild of
Different peoples, many different countries.
somebody could be watching me, watching us right
Come
now.
on now.
And say,
Can you relate? Get up in you.
you know, Black History Month.
How many people use it?
Can you relate?